Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Ajay Shah, bringing this another Facebook Live. I'm starting a new series, and this series actually was asked by our Facebook followers and friends, and that series is the topic of depression. So I will be starting this new series on depression starting today. Uh, Over next about 10 days, I will cover topic of depression in terms of how to prevent the depression, your first episode. If you suffer from depression or if your loved ones suffer from depression, how to prevent the relapse of depression so it doesn't come second, third, fourth time, how to come out of depression, and how to live a normal life with depression. Before we start the series on depression, let me also remind you that I'm also doing a series on weight loss. So if you have not watched the YouTube videos on weight loss, please watch those videos. Start with segment one. I've done 10 segments, so watch all 10 segments on weight loss. I've also done a series on high blood pressure. So if you or your loved one suffer from high blood pressure, watch that series on YouTube also. So let's start with this new series on depression. Depression topic is very dear to my heart. I myself suffer from depression, actually very severe bout of depression about 10 years ago. We will talk about it in a second. We need to prevent the first episode of depression because once the first episode of depression happens, subsequent episodes are very common. So, the goal here for all of us is to prevent the first episode of depression. I already have suffered depression, so for me, I need to prevent the relapse of depression. But for many of you who have not suffered the depression, our job, our goal is to prevent the first episode. Because once the first episode of depression happens, second episode, third episode are very common. Uh, we also need to live a normal life if you are suffering from depression. Depression actually is very, very common. Almost 25% of Americans suffer from depression. Again, 25%. So, depression is more common than diabetes. Depression is more common than heart disease. Depression is more common than cancer. Depression is an epidemic. Depression is very, very common. And depression is a very, very disabling disease. I suffer myself, so I know how it feels, and I'll tell you my depression story in a second. I've seen many patients, even as a cardiologist, many patients who suffer from depression. Depression is a disabling disease. Depression takes all the fun of life away. People who suffer from depression, they ignore their health, they ignore their families, they ignore their social circle, they ignore their financial health, they ignore many of the normal aspects of life. So depression is a disease which we all need to prevent, which we all need to take care of. 10 years ago, about 11 years ago, I suffered from bout of major depression. It was pretty much brought on because I did not take care of myself. I did not do certain healthy behavior activities, which I'm going to show you over the next few days. I did not exercise. I did not eat healthy. I did not sleep well. I did not do meditation. I did not do many of the normal things a healthy person should do. And I paid my big price suffering from a major, major depression. Matter of fact, the depression was so severe that I had to stop working. I had to sell my very successful practice and I had to take 1 year off. And I wish nobody should go through what I went through 10 years ago. So again, I've suffered it. I've learned my lessons from it. I have realized what things I should have done, and now I take care of myself. So over next 10 days, I will show you how you can prevent your first episode of depression, and if you suffer from depression, how you can come out of it and how you prevent the relapse. Again, when it comes down to depression, prevention is the key thing. Prevention is the key thing. And I'll show you all the methods how you can prevent the depression. Also, prevention of the relapse of depression is the key thing. The good thing about depression is that most people come out of the depression either naturally or with the help of antidepressant medication. So, in between the two episodes of depression, I think it's your responsibility to do everything right so you prevent the next bout of depression. And I'm going to show you how you can prevent the relapse of depression. Uh, Actually, the prevalence of depression after age 10 is as high as 50%, and lifetime risk of depression developing after age 10 is as high as 50%. So it's very, very common disease for people to have depression, particularly in America. So, what are the risk factors for depression? If you have a family history of depression, you are at high risk of developing depression. That means both my kids are at developing risk of depression. And I guide them, I remind them, I ask them to take care of certain things so that my both kids will prevent the first bout of that depression. They both are doing well, but if you have family history of depression yourself, you are at risk. And if you already have depression, your kids are at risk of developing depression. If you have certain uh, trauma in life, including going through divorce, including going through major health issue, including heart attack, stroke, cancer, any kind of major health issue, COVID-19, you have risk of developing depression. Uh, if you have a death of a loved one, either a spouse or a family member or a loved friends, then you are at risk of developing depression. If you go through loss of job, you are at risk of developing depression. Even a woman who gives a childbirth is at risk of developing depression. Giving childbirth is a major change in life of a woman, and that also predisposes that woman to developing depression called postpartum depression. Postpartum depression is very, very common and actually is very, very dangerous. And if you are a young woman, if you just have given a birth to a child, beware, the postpartum depression is common. It should be prevented by all means, and I'll show you how to do that. Uh, if you had a childhood neglect, if you're if you are in a single parent family, if your parents had ignored you, if your parents had gone through a bitter divorce, if your parents did not take care of you, and if you had a childhood neglect, you are at risk of developing depression in adult life. If you have obsessive compulsive disorder, then you are at risk of developing depression in the future. If you have a isolation in your life, and if you are lonely, if you are a single person, then you are at risk of developing depression. So I will show you how you can overcome this risk of depression by doing certain methods, certain things in life. If you drink a lot of alcohol, if you do certain drugs, you are at risk of developing depression. If you have a certain medical conditions, including low thyroid, diabetes, certain kind of cancers like pancreatic cancer, you are at risk of developing depression. So there are many reasons for people develop depression. I've given some of the common reasons. If it applies to you, please be aware that you are at risk of developing depression. Obviously, once a person has depression, having those things in life should be as much eliminated as possible. Uh, Also, I keep reminding myself and keep reminding all of you that once one episode of depression happens, second, third, fourth episodes are very common. And actually, as second and third episode happens, the duration between the two depression episodes gets shorter and shorter. I've seen many patients, I've seen many people as they develop second, third, fourth episode of depression. If the duration between first and second episode was 8 months, the second and third episode is 6 months, and then between sixth and seventh episode of depression, duration is only a month or two. So your job is to prevent each subsequent episodes of depression because the duration, the gap between each subsequent episode gets shorter and shorter, and you pretty much have depression every month or two. And that's not the healthy way of living life. So preventing each episode of depression is very critical and very, very important if you want to stay healthy and if you want to stay long, live long. Actually, depression is one of the common reason for people not living a normal long life. Depression actually is very, very important reason for people dying prematurely. Uh, I will be showing you over next 5 to 10 days different methods how you can prevent depression, how you can come out of depression. Um, when you go through this series, when you go through this Facebook Live and on YouTube, I definitely want you to have under your own doctor supervision. Many times, primary care physicians will take care of the depression, so make sure you stay in touch with your primary care physician. If you're a psychiatrist, if you're a psychologist, if you're a counselor, make sure you stay in touch with them. My talk is not going to obviously replace the care you receive from your doctors. So please stay in touch with your doctor. Um, Sometimes medication will be necessary if you suffer from depression, and there is nothing wrong taking medication. I've taken medication. They are many times safe. Obviously, medications have side effects, and your doctor will find the medication which is most suitable for you, which has the least side effect for you. But the goal here is to get off the medicine if you can get off, or if your doctor can safely stop the medicine. And I'm going to show you how you can get off your depression medicine with healthy way, with healthy lifestyle changes. Uh, uh, Even on medication, people who take antidepressant medication, the chances of relapse is as high as 50%. So even if you're taking antidepressant medication, you should still make sure that you follow the things I'm going to show you over the next 5 to 10 days to prevent the relapse of depression. Many times you may need more than one drugs. I've seen many patients who are on 2 or 3 drugs for depression. If that's the case, what I'm going to show you over the next 5 to 10 days is must to get down on the number of medications you need for depression. I know a loved one, a family member who actually is very young, who's suffering from depression, who is on 3 medications and actually still not functional, still not enjoying life, and still not having a healthful day-to-day enjoyment in life. So I definitely think that medication is not the answer. Medication is part of the treatment program, but your lifestyle changes are as important as taking antidepressant medication. Uh, so I think I'm going to show you over the next 5 to 10 days. I'm going to show you many, many things you can do to prevent depression, prevent the relapse. You don't have to do all of them. More things you do out of the list I'm going to show you, higher chance you will prevent the depression, prevent the relapse. But you don't have to do all of them. I myself don't do all the things I'm going to show you. I try to do as many things as I can, but we only have 24 hours. We only have limited resources. So do the maximum things you can do in your own life, in your own case scenario. Uh, what I'm going to show you are very easy. What I'm going to show you is very cost effective. Matter of fact, cost nothing or very small amount of resources. It's very evidence based. So I'm going to show you only thing which is proven based on science, and I'm going to show you things which are effective and proven and has shown significant benefits in terms of preventing depression and preventing the relapse of depression. As you go through this series, please watch it on YouTube, take notes, make your own journal to see what things apply in your own life, what things you can start doing it from tomorrow. Uh, Please share this video if you think you will benefit and your loved one and your family members will benefit from sharing this live and sharing the YouTube video. Subscribe to our channel. Also watch other videos on our channel because staying healthy is beyond just taking care of depression. Staying healthy is healthy eating, losing weight, sleep, exercise, and all those different lifestyle pillars are available on my YouTube channel, Healthy Living with Dr. Ajay Shah. Um, if you suffer from depression and if you feel that you are having suicidal thoughts, please stop and please call your doctor right away. If you feel like you are having suicidal thoughts right now, please call 911 or please call suicide hotline. If you suffer from depression, make sure you have suicide hotline available on your phone or in your house. So in case if you have thought, please reach out for help as soon as possible. I've gone through it, so I know how you feel. So make sure if you are having any suicidal thought, you call 911, you call your doctor, or you call suicide hotline. Depression can be a life-threatening disease. Make sure you take care of yourself. Um, Again, in society, depression many times is considered a taboo. Depression is considered a taboo. Particularly some of the developing countries like in India, depression was always considered taboo. When people go through depression, society feels the person is lazy, the person is not active, and many times they say, take a vacation, take few days off, and you'll be fine. That's not the case. Depression is a real disease, just like diabetes is, high blood pressure is, heart disease is, Alzheimer is, stroke is. So depression is a real disease. So do not let anybody try to tell you that depression means you are just lazy, you are just not active. Depression is a chemical imbalance in your brain. Depression is a chemical imbalance in your brain between serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, oxytocin, and some of the other hormones. So, depression is a real disease. Do not let anybody tell you depression is not a disease. Depression is a real disease. Uh, uh, we also have to appreciate and realize that once you develop one episode of depression, depression is a lifelong disease. Many disease, actually, you can reverse it, including heart disease, high blood pressure, many disease you can reverse it. But depression is a lifelong disease, and once you have a one episode of depression, it's your responsibility to prevent the next episode of depression. Uh, I myself go through down phases every day, every week, every month, but I prevent the major bout of depression by certain lifestyle changes, which I will show you what I do every day. And I want you to do as many things as possible, what I'm going to show you. Uh, Actually, I also have to tell you one thing. Just like with heart disease, most cardiologists, most doctors who take care of heart disease believe in medications, believe in doing procedures, stents, and bypass surgeries. And they do not believe in benefits and power of lifestyle changes. Same way, many primary care physicians, they are very good at prescribing medications, but they do not necessarily prescribe the lifestyle changes as much as they should. Matter of fact, when I see my psychiatrist, our visits are mostly talking about prescribing the medication. And there's not much talk about the lifestyle changes you can make to prevent the second, third episode of depression. So doctors are very good at prescribing antidepressant, but they are not good at all at teaching you how you can make changes in your life, in your day-to-day life, to prevent the subsequent episodes of depression. And that's what I'm going to show you over next 5 to 10 days. Uh, so let's start with all the methods. I've set a nice background why I'm doing this series on depression. There was a popular demand on our Facebook page. A lot of people wanted to do this series on depression. So let's start with how you can prevent depression, how you can prevent the subsequent episodes of depression, and how you can get off the medication for depression. Number one thing you can do every day is exercise. Exercise has been actually proven to prevent depression, prevent the relapse of depression, prevent subsequent episodes. And exercise means raising your heart rate at least 70% above your maximum heart rate. And you should be either fast walking or jogging or running if your body allows. You can do exercise bike, you can do elliptical, but raise your heart rate. Try to sweat if you can, and you should be doing it every day if you can, minimum 5 days a week. So exercise is number one thing you can do for yourself. Number one thing you can do yourself to prevent depression, prevent the relapse of depression. I also want you to do weight training if you can. There is some data that people who do regular weight training, including lifting weights, will help you to prevent the depression. I also want you to move every hour. People who move every hour, 3 to 5 minutes walking every hour, will also prevent the depression. Sitting is new smoking. You should not be sitting more than 45, 50 minutes at a time. You should be getting up and walking every hour. Uh, I myself walk every day anywhere from 8 to 10 miles every day. Let me repeat, I walk every day 8 to 10 miles, and I've been doing that for last 4 years. I prevent my major depression which happened 11 years ago by taking care of myself, and I want you to do the same thing. I want you to walk minimum 10,000 steps every day if you suffer from depression. If you are in a depression where you are not having a mood to walk, force yourself to walk every day. If you are in between your bouts of depression and if you are feeling good, start investing into making habits of walking. For me, walking 10 miles a day has become a second nature, has become a habit. Whenever I'm free in between patients, at home, whenever I'm free, I'm actually automatically walking. Now, when I'm listening to learning videos, when I'm listening to songs at home, I'm just walking. I just typically walk all day. Sometimes I walk as many as 20 miles in a day. Walking has become second nature for me. I also jog sometimes, I also run sometimes. So minimum I ask you to do is walk as much as possible. If you can walk outside in the nature, that's even better. If you walk outside in the sun with sunscreen on, that's even better. But walking is must. Walking, exercising is must. Matter of fact, there was a study done where exercise was compared with antidepressant drug Zoloft, and exercise did as good as Zoloft, if not better. And long term, in terms of preventing the second episode of depression, exercise actually was better than Zoloft. So exercise is proven important thing to do if you suffer from depression. If you suffer from depression, in between the bouts of depression, when you are feeling good, when your energy is high, when you are feeling a normal life, I want you to make a habit of exercising every day. If you suffer from depression, exercise is must. Exercise is must. Number one thing I want you to remember out of this, my whole series over next 5 to 10 days, if you want to prevent depression, if you want to prevent the relapse of depression, is the exercise. I cannot stress enough, I cannot emphasize enough of exercise. Exercise every day. Try to walk 10,000 steps every day. Invest into a Fitbit type device or an Apple Watch or any kind of step counter and make sure you walk 10,000 steps every day, preferably 15,000 steps every day. I do it. I highly recommend all of you do it. I highly urge all of you to do it. Thank you. Um, Next important thing you can do to prevent the depression and prevent the relapse of depression is sleep. I cannot emphasize enough about importance of sleep. Sleep is as important as exercise. I want you to sleep minimum 7 hours. That means 7 to 8 hours in bed. I want you to track your sleep, how much REM sleep you are getting, how much deep sleep you are getting, how much light sleep you are getting. And you can do that easily with Apple Watch or Fitbit or many other devices, including Oura Ring or the Whoop type device. So sleep is very, very important in terms of preventing depression, preventing the relapse of depression. 10 years ago, I suffered depression partly because I did not exercise and I was sleeping 4 to 5 hours. I was very busy being a cardiologist and I did not take care of myself. So, again, if you suffer from depression, sleep 7 to 8 hours. If you suffer from depression, make sure you get adequate sleep. In between the bouts of depression, make a habit of sleeping on time, having a consistent sleep. I have a separate video on YouTube how you can improve your sleep. Please watch that video on my YouTube channel, Healthy Living with Dr. Ajay Shah. Uh, uh, It's proven that people who sleep less than 5 hours, they have a very high chance of relapse of depression. So if you want to prevent the next episode of depression, make sure you sleep 7 to 8 hours every night and track your sleep to make sure you're getting adequate amount of REM sleep and deep sleep. Uh, Next thing is very important is creating a routine. Obviously, when you are suffering from depression, it's hard to have energy and hard to create a routine. But in between episodes of depression, I want you to make a habit of creating a routine in life. We all are creatures of habit. We all are creatures of routine. Whatever we do every day, every hour, that's what we do every day, every hour. For example, walking steps or walking has become a habit for me. Eating healthy food has become a habit for me. Sleeping 7 hours has become a habit for me. So if you suffer from depression in between the bouts, or if you want to prevent the depression, create routine, create a healthy routine, create some healthy habits. That means having a morning routine. And your morning routine could include doing few minutes of meditation, drinking a big glass of lemon water, exercising even 10 to 15 minutes, planning your day, having a healthy breakfast with omega-3, with nuts and seeds, with complex carbohydrate, with some plant-based protein. So having a morning routine is very important. Same way, creating an evening routine, either coming home from work, doing some meditation, exercising, having a healthy dinner with the family, going out for a walk in nature. So create an evening routine also. Also create a night routine. That means meditating few minutes before you go to sleep, taking a hot shower to have a better night's sleep, flossing your teeth, journaling your day, having a gratitude for the whole day. All those things are important for night routine. Obviously, we all have different routines in our life, but I want you to create a routine in your life. You should have a morning routine, evening routine, and a night routine if you want to prevent depression or if you want to prevent relapse of depression. So create a routine. Make a routine in your life. Make some healthy habits in your life. Next important thing I want you to remind you is the effects of alcohol. People who suffer from depression, alcohol should be avoided by all means as much as possible. If you like to have few drinks here and there, no more than one drink for women and no more than two drinks for men at a time. And you cannot have binge drinking and you cannot have every night drinking. Drinking has shown to cause relapse of depression and also cause the first episode of depression. Drinking alcohol also disturbs your sleep, particularly your REM sleep, and that also puts you at a risk of developing depression and having a relapse of depression. So limit alcohol or eliminate alcohol all the time, all the way as much as possible. So again, alcohol is very important if you suffer from depression. Many times it's hard to quit alcohol when you're suffering from depression because many times alcohol makes you feel better. But let me tell you, alcohol deep down is actually making your depression worse. So avoid alcohol as much as possible. Zero alcohol would be the ideal thing. Next thing I want you to do is creating a routine of daily meditation. There are various methods of meditation, but I'm going to show you the simplest method. You can just sit down on a comfortable chair, close your eyes, and just start observing your breath, the way air moves through your nose. Just close your eyes and observe the breath, the way air moves through your nose. That's the simplest way of meditation. You will have some thoughts. That's okay. Let those thoughts come and go. If your thoughts are very disturbing, keep a pen and paper next to you and open your eyes, write down that thought, and go back to close eyes and go back to meditation. Try to do it 15 minutes once a day minimum. Many times we all feel that there are no immediate benefits of meditation, but let me tell you one thing, meditation deep down is working in itself. You may not realize the benefits of medicine upfront or apparent way, but meditation is working inside. Medicine is making you healthier. Meditation is making you prevent the depression, prevent the relapse of depression. So meditation is must if you suffer from depression. And simple meditation technique would be just closing your eyes and observing breath. There are many other type of meditations. There are transcendental meditation. There is a loving kindness meditation. There are all different type of meditation. There's a mantra meditation where you recite certain word in your head with the closed eyes. There are various type of meditation, but some type of meditation, 15 to 30 minutes per day, is must if you suffer from depression. Matter of fact, meditation has shown to even preserve the brain gray matter, preserve the hippocampal volume, which gives you the memory, which gives you the which gives you the intelligence, and all those things are important if you want to preserve your brain function to have meditation. Um, uh, I'm going to stop here. This is about 30 minutes. I will be doing a daily episode on depression. I have almost about 2 or 3 hours of different methods how you can prevent depression, how you can prevent the relapse of depression. Please have your questions, comments, concerns. Please add if you know something about depression. Please teach us if you have suffered from depression. If you have found your own method, please contribute and let's do it together. Let's prevent depression if you never had it. Let's prevent the relapse of depression if you had depression before. Let's help our loved ones to do the same, and let's do it together. I also remind you that I'm doing a series on weight loss. Many people suffer from obesity, so please watch that series also. It's also available on YouTube. Please watch a weight loss series on YouTube. I've done 10 segments, so please watch all 10 segments. I'm starting another new interesting series on how to live 110 years old healthy way. That series will start tonight. So please stay tuned for that series. Please share this live on your page if you think it will help your family and your loved ones. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and have a great afternoon. Exercise, eat healthy, meditate, walk out in the sun, walk out in the nature, and be as healthy as possible. Thank you, and see you again soon in the evening. Thank you.